here.
Well, I don't know how many people are waiting, so we'll see. Look, we already got some
Sure.
people
Yeah, and
coming in.
we can turn it into a conversation. It's not if there aren't.
Well, the thing is with the webinar format, I have to unmute them. Like they can't just come off mute
Okay.
and talk. So that was the thing. That's what I was saying. Like if we're asking for, who is in Riverside County, they can raise their hand. That's probably going to be the easiest way to let us know. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar today. My name is Mark Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of Indian Dispute Resolution Services. And of course, you probably have gotten an email from us, and it's referencing our program, the IDRS Acorn Project, which is our small business development program. And we provide free training and technical assistance to Indian country, both here in California and in states throughout the Western United States. This is a pretty exciting opportunity that the state of California is offering. So we have only sent this notification out to people on our California list and have shared it with our tribal partners in California. And so if you're not in California, we apologize. You're not eligible for the grant if you might have gotten this invitation. This is really for California based businesses. And so we were trying to really limit it to that because this is a grant program of the state of California. So I didn't want you to stick around if you're not a California based business. Not that we want to exclude you. It's not us doing it. It's the state of California because it's their money. They have said that only California-based businesses are eligible. So, so what we're doing as the IDRS Acorn Project is we are promoting the grant program, and the grant program is being operated by nonprofits throughout the state of California. And one of the nonprofits is the Caravan Saray Project. And they are managing, one of the grant funds. There's a number of different, funders or kind of sub-grantees that are passing out the grants. A lot of small business development centers are doing it. But one of the only true nonprofit programs is the Caravan Saray, it's Caravan Saray, right? I want to keep saying, I keep wanting to go I, and it's A, so Caravan Saray. And we're partnering with them to get the word out to Indian country here in California. So that's why we're having this webinar today. And so with that, I want to welcome Mihai Petru from Caravan Saray and Graciela Moran, who's also from the Caravan Saray. I'm going to keep saying it, and then by saying it a number of times, I will have it ingrained in my brain. So I'm going to welcome them. They're going to tell you all about how the grant program, how where it came from, the eligibility, how to apply, the deadlines, and all those type of things. And what you'll be doing is you'll be applying through their organization for the grant program. And so we wish you all luck. So, well, with that introduction, I want to turn it over to Mihai.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, IDRS, for having us. Actually, we were connected recently, and we're very excited about learning this amazing resource that you all have access to. So, as Mark said, my name is Mihai Petru, and I'm the Executive Director of Caravan Saray Project, and Graciela is our External Affairs Officers, and we are one of the 17 organizations that have been included by the California Office for Small Business Advocate to be a part of the Dream Fund program. Just a bit about our organization. We define ourselves as a social impact venture. We are a 501c3 organization based in Palm Springs, California. We work around 70% of our work has been focused on Southern California and the state of California, but we also do a lot of projects, and we have partnership around the country, but also internationally we are very active. What we do would be qualified under the name of technical assistance and capacity building. Our goal is to provide technical support to mission-driven entrepreneurs, both for-profit and non-profit organizations that are struggling or are challenged a bit when it comes to their own infrastructure. We don't advise on subject matters like, if there is an organization working with homeless individuals or LGBTQ, we don't intervene, on the policies or the content. What we are really good at and what we have experience with is making sure that these organizations have the right infrastructure to grow their work, to generate even more impact than before. We have a set of programs. We even have a mission-driven pre-accelerator program for mission-driven entrepreneurs in cooperation with University of California, Riverside Extension, a series of master classes and strategic planning and networking circles, as well as a monthly webinar where on the last Friday of each month, when we bring speakers or share resources for about an hour and a half on topics that we learned are of interest during, at a particular moment in time for our audiences. Just a bit of clarification when it comes to our understanding of mission-driven work. As I said, we work with both nonprofits and for-profits. For us, mission-driven work is really how whatever legal structure you choose to even sole proprietors, what's the impact that you have on your community? Even if you run a grocery store or a car wash, there is a lot you can do for the community that you are part of. So for us, that's mission-driven work, even if you're not a nonprofit organization or a social enterprise. So that's a bit of our different approach to mission-driven work. That's why we don't talk that much about nonprofit work. Going back to the Dream Fund and the reason we are here, we have a couple of slides. We are trying to keep it very short and very clear, and then we'd like to answer as many questions as possible you might have, or things that you are curious about when it comes to this program, and kind of have a conversation around this initiative. I'll share my slide.
Mihai, if I could just interject just real quick.
Please.
One of the things that I forgot to mention is that this is being presented on the Zoom webinar format. So you can't come off of mute and speak. So what we would ask you to do is use the chat box during the question and answer session. If you do want to verbally ask a question, then you can raise your hand and I will find a way to unmute you. I'm not the best at Zoom, but I will do my best. So I just wanted to let folks know that that's the so while Mihai is presenting, the best way is to put your question in the chat box. And then if, and afterwards we'll find a way, if you want to ask a question, we'll find a way to unmute you. So back to you, Mihai.
Definitely. You can drop your questions in the chat box and we will answer them. So Graciela, do you want to talk a bit about the Dream Fund and how it came into being and how we are part of this?
Yeah, of course. So
you.
hi, everyone. My name is Graciela Moran. I serve as Mihai had said, I serve as an external affairs officer for Caravanserai Project. Thank you all for making time out of your day to join us. And thank you so much, IDRS, for inviting us. And we're super excited to make this connection. Now let's talk about this exciting program. So in 2021, Caravanserai Project was awarded a California Small Business Technical Assistance Expansion Program grant. And so a part of that for the acronym is SB TAEP grantee is a requirement to become a Dream Fund Center program. And so because of SB TAEP that was created in 2018, we're able to expand the services of these federally awarded small business technical assistance programs and provide these services to y'all. So what is a Dream Fund? So the Dream Fund, the California Dream Fund grant program was created in 2021 by Senate Bill number 151, and is to provide micro grants for up to $10,000 in seed and entrepreneurship and small business creation in underserved small business groups and that are facing capital and opportunity gaps. So these micro grants will be made available to startup clients participating in an intensive training and consulting with the centers like us, designated by the Small Business Technical Assistance Expansion Program. And so this is all offered by the Office of Small Business Advocates, California Office of Small Business Advocates. You'll hear us use the acronym CalOSPA a lot throughout this, throughout the webinar. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. So the Dream Fund provides approximately $35 million in one-time grant funding to provide micro grants of up to $10,000 to small businesses that participate in this training. And so this funding will be dispersed through a third-party administrator that's selected by CalOSPA. So we are one of the 17 centers that were selected in California, and each center all has different requirements. Each center also too has the different amount of funding that was allocated. And so through us, we will be supporting up to 60 startup mission-driven entrepreneurs, whether that's for-profit and nonprofit in California. And we will be focusing in the Inland Empire, but it's not limited. That's why we're here today, to make sure that everyone gets a chance to have this resource, and we're not exclusively just serving the Inland Empire. And we will be helping out facilitating the access to the Dream Fund grants up to $10,000. And so our application process, it did open February 28th, and the deadline is March 25th. And that is all for now. And I'm gonna throw it over to Mihai, where we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the requirements and eligibility.
Thank you, Graciela. So this fund was designed and aims to support new businesses. So one of the most important requirement is that you are incorporated or obtain a business license, in case you are a sole proprietor, in the state of California after July 1st, 2019. If you are a nonprofit, being a 501c3 is not required. What is required is that you file with the state of California as a nonprofit corporation before July 1st, 2019. And if you are in the process of doing that, that's okay, you qualify. The thing is that when Landistry will start distributing the funds, they will ask you for copies of business licenses or incorporation documents to demonstrate that you are in business. So if you apply to the Dream Fund program through us and you are accepted, you still have time to get all these documents before getting the actual funds. There is no timeline for the distribution of funds. The program will have to conclude by the end of the year. So there is a lot of flexibility there in you actually getting the funds. Besides this important requirement that people should know from the start, July 1st, 2019, there are a few other requirements that you can choose from. Once you have, you meet the first requirement, they will ask to demonstrate that you have banking relationship, that you have a business bank account, or that you have an employee, or that you have spent money for business expenses, and that includes legal services, or maybe you paid an accountant to file your taxes. That's one of these documents will be required. Not all three of them, but just one. As Graciela mentioned, our contribution to the Dream Fund is the technical assistance, the training side part of the program, and we developed with our team seven mandatory workshops and one-on-one consulting sessions, which is being part of this training program is mandatory to be considered for the funds. That's kind of, that's our contribution to the funds, because we are aiming towards 50 to 60 participants in our program. We will create 2 cohorts for the workshops. One that will be for half of the selected applicants will be towards the end of April, beginning of May, and the second one will be in July. The 7 workshops, and Graciela, if you can share the description of the workshops, are only 7. Each has in between 60 to 90 minutes. We will try to wrap up everything in about 2 weeks, and then we will do some one-on-one consulting sessions that will really target your own challenges or things that you need support with from us and from our instructors. And I think another important element is that we will work with you, because you are a startup, to develop a budget, but also a comprehensive roadmap for the business. That means a simplified version of the business plan. We want to make sure that you will know, not necessarily but it will be easy for you to justify the way you spend the funds. And the final requirement is that we will work with you over time after you get the money, and make sure that you stay on track if you need additional support, because we will have to report back once a year about your experience, the journey that you are pursuing once you get the funds. That is part of the monitoring and evaluation process of the grant. And I don't know if I mentioned, these are unrestricted funds, and you can use them for whatever needs you need to cover for your own organization. And again, just something that is very important, it is for profits and non-profits and sole proprietors as well. They will we have some of the frequently asked questions, how the amount of the award is decided. This will be Caravanserai has access to about $500,000 to give away in small grants, in micro grants, each of up to $10,000. So the way it works, you will go through the training, and based on the application and the assessment of your needs, the team that is involved in the program will suggest to Landistry and Office of Small Business Advocate an amount to be distributed to you. Once the training program is over, we will issue a certificate, and that you will use, and we will help you through the application process for the funds, to have all your documents, make sure the business license is the one that the Office for Small Business Advocate and Landistry are expecting, and so on. So we are not the organizations distributing the funds. We will help you and support you through the process, but Landistry is the organization that will actually wire you the money. You cannot be awarded multiple grants. Although there are 17 organizations that are part of the Dream Fund providing access to the trainings and later on to the funds, at this point you can apply to all 17 of them. But if you get into all 17, or if you're selected by all 17 providers, there is a vetting process that Landistry is covering, and you will be awarded only one grant. The other thing is that each service provider, each of the 17 organizations, has a different way of approaching this program. In our case, we wanted to make it very public, really reach out to low-income communities, disastered areas, minorities, or in general, historically marginalized communities that do not have access to these funds or don't even know that they exist. So this is part of the reason we are working with IDRS to really get to people that should have access to these funds. And yeah, so that's an important element, and it is mandatory to graduate the training program and the coaching sessions, because based on, you will use the certificate that we will issue in order to apply to Lendistry to get the funds. If you don't have the certificate, you'll not be eligible or considered to actually get the financial, the micro grants. And as I mentioned, because I know this has been a very common question, it is a program that is available both for for-profit and non-profit organizations, entrepreneurs, and startups in general. And I think that's the end of our slide. So any questions? I did not follow the chat conversation, but please feel free to raise your hands or just drop your question in into the chat box. Probably.
Yes, so Mihai, there hasn't been any questions. I think you are delivering all the information, so you're filling everybody in. I had one question.
Please.
This is just a clarification that people probably don't know about. Just want to make sure. So in utilizing Lendistry, so Lendistry, there is a large program that happened last year called the California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program. It was quite a mouthful. And one of the issues there is they gave away 3 different grant levels depending on the income, the revenue level of the business. Now, one of the issues that they made sure to point out is that people could not get multiple grants for that program. But I want to make sure that this grant program is totally independent. So if somebody has received money from that grant program, they can get money from the Dream Fund as well.
Or you could be the beneficiary of any other grants. It's not the fact that you have been selected and awarded state grants, federal grants, or county grants, any type of grants. That doesn't mean you are not eligible for the Dream Fund. I mean, if you have already been beneficiary of grants, good for you. We applaud you. And, you know, or any type of funding. What I would like to take a couple of minutes is just go very quickly through the application, because I think it's will be just give you an idea about what we are looking for. And again, this application was developed by our organization. It doesn't mean that based on the eligibility criteria and the requirements that the Office of Small Business Advocate has required us to respect. And I think Graciela dropped the link in the chat box. Email, you know, full name, obviously. We will ask if your business is located in California, the zip code, the county. Just, you know, these are data that will help us better understand your needs and where you are. As I mentioned at the beginning, there is a particular interest in reaching out low-income rural communities and disaster-impacted areas. It's not, if you're not part of these communities, it doesn't mean you don't qualify. It's just another way of us really better understanding where you are located. You know, we make sure that we also, it helps us demonstrate that we are part of these conversations, like the one that is targeting, these particular communities. And we used, it's not, when it comes to low wealth areas, it's not a very clear definition. You can check, if you're not sure about your region, you can, you know, check the US Census bureaus and kind of get a better sense. But I'm sure all of you here have been working in your communities for a number of years, and you know if your community that you're serving or you're part of is a low income community. So just, you know, I think it's also more of a personal assessment So don't try to dig in too much into, we are not asking for percentages or for you to give us proof that, and in many cases, the zip code that you will provide will indicate that as well. Rural community, I think it's an easier way to explain and figure out these disaster impacted areas. This is are specific territories that are included in state and federal agency declarations or proclamations. So these are public, and it's easy to see if your region has been designated as a disaster impacted area. Then, we are asking about language, race, ethnicity. These are questions that are required, but you also have the option to say that, I think it was, that you prefer not to say. So that's something we are not forcing you to provide an answer that you are not comfortable sharing. We are asking also what type of venture. You can be a for-profit, non-profit, not sure yet. Some of you might be in the process of, you have an idea that you have been working on, but you are not legally incorporated yet. So that's would be your one of your choices. Also, how many people are behind, also the industry of your venture, food rental, kind of get us a better sense which sector you are serving. Any other data that we would like to learn from you. Again, the purpose is to really to better understand where you're coming from and what are your needs. And I think the most important questions, honestly, are just 4, and we try to make it short and not put a lot of pressure on the applicants. We are only requiring 50 words, and one of them, the first one, is really briefly describe your customer. Who are you serving? Who are the communities that you're working with? And that's, I think, all of you here being in business for a while, or even if you're just a startup or have an idea, who your customer is. So please try to provide a comprehensive, within 50 words, description of your customer. We had somebody that applied and saying, just everyone. Well, you can't really serve everyone. So being a bit more specific will help a lot. Also, what kind of services you are providing there. We've been going through some of the applications already, and they are so unclear about what kind of services they are providing. So, if you are in the food industry, if you have a grocery store, just, that's what you do, right? A retail will really help us better understand what kind of business you are part of. Two of the trickier questions, I would say, is the one that it comes to social impact. We really want to know what kind of impact you have on your community, whether from providing fresh food to hiring local folks to working, employing only women. There was a really interesting application from somebody that is working in construction, or they had a rental agency with cars, I don't remember, and they only work hiring women. That's an amazing impact that they are providing and reaching out to. They are very clear about who they want to work with and support. So it can be really anything from environment to just, think a bit, what kind of impact you have on your community. And then a question that I think we found very important in 2022 is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's, again, there is no perfect answer. There are so many ways of thinking about diversity, thinking about equity, thinking about inclusion, but especially for your audience, that's just in a very simple words, in case you're hiring women, or, that's a great commitment to diversity. You're hiring, working with LGBT or supporting LGBTQ individuals. Again, that's where any type of commitment or support towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's the right answer in your case. We had, just give you an example that was a bit disappointing. We had a few folks saying, we are not committed. And that was kind of shocking to us. I think they missed the point of it's 2022, and everyone should be committed to implementing and of supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion in whatever form, shape, or context. And the other questions are really about you being, recognizing that you'll attend the training, and you will accept to be part of the training, and then that you will committed to update us on your work. I think that's about the application.
So Mihai, so we have been having some questions in the chat, and Graciela has been answering them. But I've even been getting text messages from some of our clients that are on the line. So just to clarify, what's going to happen is they're going to apply. The application date is the 25th, so it's coming up here in 8 days. You'll review the applications, and then you'll select a group, and they'll be, and then they'll have to go through a business readiness training program.
Yes.
And you'll deliver that over 2 cohorts, because I think, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correct, Anai. If I'm not, I apologize, because Anai was wondering about that. So nobody has to do any training prior to application. You're applying, and then if you're accepted, then you do the training program. And then after you complete the training program, so that was the question about the certificate. The certificate is to document that you've gone through the training program, and then the certificate allows you to get the money, which is dispersed from Lendistry. And for those that don't know what Lendistry is, it's called a CDFI. It's a certified a community development financial institution. It's based down in Southern California in Orange County. But what they're doing is they're contracted with the state to manage the funds. So all these different organizations don't have to do it. And they're the ones that are going to just be distributing the money. Caravanserai is going to indicate that this person should get the money. And then Lendistry says, okay, I will now give them the money, right? I just want to see if that's a good synopsis.
That's the perfect explanation of the process. And Lendistry will do their part of due diligence. Is they will ask for the certificate from you. They are building a platform where you can upload these documents, and each graduate from our program will have an individual code that it's connected to their database. They will ask for you to upload article of incorporations or any, the proofs that they need to make sure that you are a legit business, you are committing to growing your business, because these funds are aimed to really help you grow and start in good standing and with some financial support, your business, which is a startup. And that's, I think there was a question about how long is the training. There will be, the cohort will have to attend 7 workshops. Each workshop is between 60 minutes to 90 minutes. And the workshops, the way we thought about workshops are really, none of you here are, came with the idea, with your startup ideas yesterday, right? So you've been thinking about them. So we are just trying to elevate that experience and focus on business planning and how to understand your customer, how to think about competition, how to, the online and marketing part, and the one-on-one sessions will really be about helping you develop a comprehensive budget, develop a roadmap for your business, and kind of those documents will also be required or expected as part of the training process from Lendistry as well. To this point, that's what we know. Lendistry is in the process of finalizing their part of the process and clarifying. We had some conversations recently, so we will know pretty soon about the exact expectations and the exact process that Lendistry will require the applicants to go through. But we, as a training partner, we will work with you to make sure that when you apply for the funds and requesting the funds, you have all the documents you need. We are not gonna drop the ball on you.
And Mihai, I just want to go back to a question that Franklin
Please.
wrote. He was asking about the deadline, which we have answered as March 25th. But he asked about funding opportunities like this in the future. And I think we should point out that this program is a one-time program. I believe it's $32 million
Yes.
authorized by the state. And so in working in small business development for many years, this is very rare that funding is coming for small business development to begin with. Right? You rarely see grants for small business. Loans, yes, but grants, no. Really, the pandemic has initiated a lot of these grant programs. And what's even rarer, this may be the only one that I've ever known of, except maybe a small foundation or something, to provide grant funding for a startup business.
Yeah.
Almost all, like that whole COVID relief grant program that I talked about, that was all for existing businesses. So to give money for a startup business is pretty rare. So hopefully there'll be other grant funding about there, but this is not Caravanserai's ability to answer this question, right? This is the state of California.
Right. And what's interesting, and I think the model that the state has decided to adopt moving forward is marrying training, technical assistance training and technical support with funds. They realize that just providing trainings and supporting startups is not enough. You can get the best training in the world, you can get the best support. If you don't have money, let's be real about it, you're not going to be able to implement what you learn. So mixing those two, I think it's a good strategy. But you are correct. This is a one-time $35 million investment for the Dream Fund. I don't think there will be another one yet. There are other programs. And one of them that was last year is called Seed Entrepreneurship. And they had about $8 million to give away, to invest in this program. And they targeted street vendors. And there were also trainings and funds of up to $7,500. So that was something last year, and there will be a reiteration of the program. They increased the value. It was announced not long time ago, but the target for the new program that will be announced soon is that the beneficiaries and the groups that are targeted are limited English proficiency entrepreneurs, startups as well. So that's, another way of, I don't know if that's something those who have joined us today would be interested in, but that's, we will share with you once we know more about it as a resource. And I think the funds for that program this year are $15 million. And it's also for California.
Yeah, and I was going to say another California state grant program.
Yes.
It's not going to be for the people that are on this call, because hopefully most of you got the message. This is for new businesses, but for existing businesses, if you're a micro enterprise, the California just has a California micro enterprise grant program, and they're offering grants through counties. And so that's how they're distributing it through counties and small business development programs in the county. I think it's a $2,500 grant. So,
I think in Riverside County, it's happening now.
Yes, it's just starting. I think Santa Clara, it was on top of my mind because I got an email from Santa Clara County that they opened their application period today at 9 a.m. So So be looking for that, and we'll announce that coming up.
Melissa dropped the question,
Yeah.
and do you have to have the business banking relationship or money spent on business expenses before you apply for the grant? You can apply to be included in the program even if you're not there, if you don't have the banking relationship, or even if you have not spent money yet on admin, legal and so on, but you will have to prove that you've done that by the time you are considered for the funds. But opening a banking account using your EIN, or as a business, or that's not that complicated. That I think it's just the charge that the bank is requiring, the monthly fee. And
And when you're saying consider for the funds, it's not getting the grant. It's not being accepted into the grant program. It's really before Lendistry provides you the money. That's when you have to have that, the
Yes.
business banking relationship.
Yes, because again, they are targeting startups that have been in existence legally since July 1st, 2019, but that includes entrepreneurs that are now trying to, going through that process and might not be finalized by the time you apply to be in the program, but it will happen later on. So that's okay.
And I think that there was a question. I think Graciela had also shared, some of the other SBDCs that are also working on this program. And I think it was Miliana had asked about some of the resources for San Diego. And so just to clarify, because, since we're promoting the Indian country, we work statewide. And that was one of the things that I have clarified with Mihai. Anybody within the state can apply anywhere, including to your program.
Yes. Because we are in the Inland Empire, I think our focus has been more on encouraging people from the Inland Empire, because, this is where our network is, or most of our network. But, really we are having these conversations and working with organizations like IDRS to expand and reach out to communities all across California. So if you are in San Diego, you are more than welcome to apply. But I think, we mentioned that before, each of the 17 organizations in the program that are participating in the fund develop their own process, their own schedule. I don't know if they have a public call or a public, allowing everyone to apply, or they are exclusively working with existing beneficiaries. I think we have been encouraging people to just reach out to these entities that you can find in the link that Graciela has shared, and reach out to them and figure out what kind of process they have designed for this and how they are approaching the program.
I was going to say, I was researching one of the SBDCs, and and I can't be 100% solid on this, but they did have some language in there that people that were going through their training program were not necessarily guaranteed for the grant. So I don't know if they were putting that language in there, because obviously if you go through the training program and you don't ever get a business license, you also can't get your grant from Caravan Sarai as well.
You never incorporate. So, we will make sure to work with you to figure out all these steps. But I think, it's the requirements are clear, and we don't, if you go through the program and you graduate successfully and you get the certificate, it doesn't mean you automatically get $10,000. So that's something to keep in mind.
But if they do jump through the hoops and they're selected, they will get the funds.
Yes.
Right.
I think, what we are trying, us in particular, but also Lendistry and Office of Small Business Advocate, is really to make this process as easy as possible and work with people, especially that startups where, we've all of us have been there. It's very hard to figure out some of the steps, and making it easy and accessible, and providing the information that we are trying to be as comprehensive and clear and supportive as possible.
Okay. Well, we've had a really robust chat session that Graciela has been hammering and
thank
taking
you.
care of. But I don't know if there's any final questions that we have here.
I have just a question. Is there anyone from Riverside County and is thinking to start, or is a non-profit startup?
Yeah, if you guys are interested, if you just want to raise your hand, you can put your hand up in the, there's a little thing down at the bottom called raise hand, or you can go into the chat box and says, I'm from Riverside.
And the reason we are asking that is there is an additional funding opportunities that has recently joined us, not the Dream Fund. It's the Community Action Partnership of Riverside County, and they are offering $1,000 to nonprofit startups, but they have to apply for the Dream Fund as well. Those two are not conditioned. You can get both of them. You can get one of them where and we can drop the link in the chat box about the CAP funding opportunity. And if you don't know about CAP, have a look. They have some amazing resources for Riverside County businesses, nonprofits, for-profits, entrepreneurs. But I think even just, for some of you might be an interest for your beneficiaries.
Mihai, there's a question in the Q&A box. It's from Denisha, and she says, should we type NA in those, I think, places of the application that we do not have the information for at this moment?
Yes, but I think if you, when you click on the question, you have the opportunity to say, we don't know, or not yet, or something like this, I think.
Okay.
But yes, it's, if that's not the case, NA were not available or something, that's good. Okay. Especially when it comes, there is a question about how much revenue have you managed to accumulate so far. It's, if it's zero, it's fine, you're a startup. But for that, includes everything from grants to contracts to donations. We just wanted to know if you had, where you are on when it comes to your financial support. And even if you were, just one thing that I wanted to mention, and I think it was relevant for another info session we did earlier today, was even if you don't qualify for this particular program, as I said, there are other resources and opportunities that some of them we will be part of, some we won't be able to be part of, but at least we know about you, and we can, we know where you are, what your interests are, and we can share that with you. So I think, don't, if you're not sure about applying, just make sure, I think sharing what you do would be helpful to, for us to contact you later on if there are other resources available to startups or any kind of businesses. And if you have any other questions before submitting the application or after, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are very available. We just want to make sure that we are as accessible as possible and help as many applicants to figure out if they should apply or how to apply, or the submission is final. You cannot edit your like most of the applications, you cannot edit your submission. So if there are any questions that you might have before hitting submit, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Okay, and I think Graciela just answered a question from Franklin. Franklin was saying that a lot of the money goes to Southern California, but Franklin, I think a lot of the money goes to Southern California. There's just a lot of people down south. I think that's the only reason. I don't think the people up in Sacramento favor Southern California versus Northern
No,
California.
again, I think it really depends on the organizations that are part of the program and how active they are in reaching out through their partners or their communities and networks and so on. But no, I think the idea is to cover as many communities in California. Not if it feels like Southern California is more active, probably it's because the organizations are more active and more determined. But no, there is no. The goal is to really reach out to as many communities as possible.
Yeah, so frankly, I would encourage you to apply to the Caravanserai, and they're going to give you an equal shot as and then also call, because you're up there in Hoopa. You're very close to Humboldt State, which used to have. They may still have it's the NorCal SBDC, and I would also, if you want to talk to somebody in person, to reach in there to see what their program is. So
reach
Go
reach
ahead.
out to them. That has been our advice. If it's not us, the important thing is for you to have access to the funds. So whoever you decide to apply, and you can apply to multiple organizations, doesn't mean you will get multiple grants, but just increase your chances. I don't know about the other partners, but for us, the last 2 weeks have been, the number of applications we have received has been overwhelming, and the interest. So I assume the others are the same, but please do apply. I think it's a great opportunity. As Mark said, probably it's not going to be that easy moving forward to access this type of funding.
Okay, is there any last questions? So we got a lot of thank yous.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys for coming.
No, thank you for
Graciela.
having us.
Yeah, I think Mihai, you just shared the slides, but only to us, and not to everyone. So you might want to check everyone and that. But just to let everybody know, I will be sending out an email. So even if you aren't here, you aren't hearing this, but maybe you'll hear this in the future. We will be sending out a copy of the recording here in just a little bit. We'll include the slides, and it'll have links to both Caravanserai and all these the grant program, and to IDRS if you want to reach us for. And we do a lot of the same trainings and technical assistance that Caravanserai does, but we don't have these grant funds. And so that's why we definitely wanted to partner with them, because we know how difficult, especially in Indian country, it is getting funds to start and grow your small business here in California. So
I dropped the presentation in the chat box for everyone, and you have our contact information there and the links and everything. So again, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mark, and thank you everyone for joining us and for your interest.
Yes, and yes, thank you everybody. Thank you, Mihai. Thank you, Graciela. Thank you, Caravanserai. It's a Caravanserai project. That's the appropriate. And it's Caravanserai, right? See, I was saying Sarai, but it's Sarai.
Right.
Sarai, Caravanserai. Say, okay, Caravanserai project. And definitely thank you, and encourage everybody to apply. Even if you don't get it, this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Just get your feet wet. Get your feet wet, thinking about your idea, right? Going through the application. It's kind of like a mini business plan. Starts getting you to think and flesh out that idea. So it's a good opportunity to get yourself moving. So I would definitely encourage that.
And there is no perfect answer. There is no right or wrong. So it's your idea. You own it, and you're the best person to talk about it.
Exactly. So with that, everybody, want to thank everybody for coming, and we will see you on the next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.